Good evening. This is Eswatini TV News Bulletin at 8, read to you by myself, Natile Sitole, alongside Zamanzi Manze. First up, here's a look at our headlines. The Ministry of Labour will soon review the Labour Relations Act of 2000. The new chairperson of the Teaching Service Commission has been sworn in. The Police Information and Communications Officer condemns the acts of violence by certain police officers whose video has gone viral on social media. And now the news in detail. The acting Minister of Labour and Social Security, who is also the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Polile Shakantu, says her ministry is in the process of reviewing the Industrial Relations Act of 2000 as amended to bring better conditions in the workplace. The minister said this during the official opening training of managers from the private sector on grievance, discipline, healing and conducting fair appeals. The workshop is conducted by Business Eswatini at Emafini Lodge in Babane.
The acting Minister of Labour and Social Security, Polile Shakantu, who is also the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, says as the world moves towards artificial intelligence and automation of tasks previously performed by people, it is important for employers to engage their workforce to avoid conflicts. The minister was speaking during a training of managers on avoiding conflicts in the workplace, which is conducted by Business Eswatini.
I'm therefore appealing to you that as you go through this course, to be aware of the fact that the Ministry of Labour is already in the process of reviewing the current Industrial Relations Act of 2000 as amended. And we will also be embark on a process of finalizing the employment bill. As such, I think your training occurs at an opportune time because the ministry will soon be approaching industry, the labor unions, and other stakeholders to contribute meaningfully to the revision and crafting of the new legislation. With your collective contributions, I have no doubt that this country will be able to meet the challenges that lie ahead, as well as the dictates of the future of work.
The Chief Executive Officer of Business Eswatini, Nathi Dlamini, says the training will equip managers with skills necessary to deal with different conflicts in the workplace.
The whole world is rapidly globalizing, and with that globalization, new challenges are being brought to bear, especially to companies in the country and elsewhere. And it challenged private industry to be up to the task in the manner they would respond to these challenges going forward, and also stress the point that we need to be very much alive to the need to create jobs.
The 3-day workshop has been attended by 50 managers from different sectors. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Nelson Ndlangamandla with Muzim Konda in Babane.
Dr. Amos Mahlalela has been sworn in as the Teaching Service Commission's chairperson. During the swearing-in ceremony held in the Ministry of Education, Mahlalela says he believes that he will be able to work together with the relevant officials in ensuring that the core mandate of the Commission is restored.
Dr. Amos Mahlalela, the former Ngwane College principal, is now the new TSC chairperson. Mahlalela was sworn in on Tuesday. Speaking during the swearing-in, Mahlalela stated that he will restore the core mandate of the commission.
Better is a person who knows his weaknesses. Better is a person who can point out the challenges, because that person is well placed to correct those challenges. I'm very grateful that I'm joining a team here, a team that is aware what needs to be done. And when Babe PS spoke about the word transparency, I know he meant it.
Mahlalela further stated that he believes the commission will work together with Eswatini National Association of Teachers. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni in Babane.
The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Bertram Stewart, has implored the Teaching Service Commission to deal with all the irregularities and corruption that have engulfed the education sector, especially the hiring and deployment of teachers. Stewart was speaking during the swearing-in ceremony of the new TSC chairman, Dr. Amos Matlalela.
The Auditor General in his 2019-2020 compliance report that has been tabled in Parliament has picked so many irregularities and mismanagement of funds in so many schools around the kingdom. Surely this is bound to cause some frustrations to the Principal Secretary of the Ministry, Bertram Stewart, who asked the TSC to deal with such issues, especially the recruitment and deployment of teachers. Stewart says when the country introduced the free primary education, government hired a lot of teachers and there was also a lot of uncontrolled movement of teachers, such that some teachers are said to be based in a certain school, yet they draw money from a different school, something that has been picked by the Auditor General.
Ikakhulukazi indzaba lokukhalwa ngayo ngema-promotions ukuthi lona upromoteka ngoba anjani. Kanti le nto nangayenda ibe transparent nje kube lapha ebonzeni. Kuthi buka ngoba nawunama characteristics lanje, we will consider you for promotion. Hayi lokwenyula. Uba bathi awu lo muntu efika nje angakendi akakwathi ngisho nokuspela igama la president wakasinathi kodwa sengiprincipal. Uyabona. So these are some of the things lekufuna ukuthi sitibuke kube sibe perceived for transparency than for corruption. Sinetinkinga ke lapha lekufuna nithi sukumele ni commission masinyane. Kunenzaba nje ngibekise yabothishela ukhanze ukuthi thishela uthi khandlile wafunzela ukuthi yena uyofundisa e-high school kodwa ke ngetimo letithithe labo bothishela bathi khanze sebafundzisa e-primary. And then ke kwaphinze kwaba nalokunye kumbe lokungakahambi kahle indzaba ukuthi ubekise ukuthi thishela kumbe ufundzisa eMangane high school kodwa uhola emhlatana.
Again, Stewart wants the TSC to deal with corrupt individuals who are hell-bent on tarnishing the image of the ministry and individuals who work for the education sector. The Ministry of Education is yet to appear before the PAC, and surely some of the irregularities found by the AG are going to be part of the agenda. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Linton Gule with Sondom Langen in Babane.
Midwives have pledged to upgrade themselves and be at par with global changes in technology for efficient service delivery while taking care of both the mother and the newly born child. They said this during the commemoration of the World Midwifery Day and launch of the 2021 Midwifery Report that was held at the Mountain Inn in Babane.
Midwives commemorated their day under the theme Follow Data. This day is annually celebrated on the 5th of May. Amongst other issues, midwives have seen the need to upgrade themselves for quality education and universal health coverage as well as improved service delivery. With high maternal mortality rate in Eswatini, midwives have vowed to work on that and save the lives of both the mother and the child while making the environment a conducive one. Margaret Twala Tembe, the UNFPA officer in charge, says investing in midwives can save 4.3 million lives worldwide.
And this report is about building a health workforce, a very critical workforce that we need to meet the needs of women, newborns and adolescents everywhere, whether you speak Eswatini, Zambia, everywhere in the globe. My chief, allow me to expatiate on the importance of midwives in life. Investing in midwives is a cost-effective approach to improving health outcomes for mothers, babies, families, reducing maternal, neonatal mortality, morbidity, and stillbirth.
Sibongile Khoza represented the Chief Nursing Officer, who says the 2021 report shows progress since 2011 and they are looking forward to the year 2030 where they will address global midwife shortage and improve quality care.
As the country gathers to celebrate the International Day of the Midwife under the theme Follow the Data, Invest in Midwives, what does that mean for the country? Data is the driving force in the workforce. Midwife roles are centered on generating data as provided as they provide service.
The 2021 State of the Midwife Worlds Report was then launched. The need to improve midwives shortage in the country remains a challenge. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB at the Mountain Inn in Mbabane.
The Singapetelo MVA Fund continues to strengthen partnership with stakeholders in the health sector to reduce claim time for accident victims. The MVA Fund signed an MOU with the Good Shepherd Hospital at the Royal Villas in Eswatini.
The Singapetelo MVA Fund has signed a memorandum of understanding with health institutions which will allow the Singapetelo MVA Fund employees to intervene as soon as an accident occurs and a patient is admitted in hospital. This will facilitate the newly launched strategy of registering and finalizing claims. The MVA Fund signed a memorandum of understanding with the Good Shepherd Hospital with the objective of upgrading case management. The MVA Fund CEO, David Mieni, says this will strengthen partnerships between all stakeholders involved.
And we have taken much effort to ensure that we reduce and totally eliminate the backlog. I can mention that we have a huge program ongoing currently that is processing those claims that have been lagging for some time. We have a target that we have set for ourselves to say we drastically reduce them by the end of the financial year. We should be in a position whereby we report a very minimal number of those backlog claims. I must mention that for some of them you find that there are now challenges with tracing the people that were involved.
The Good Shepherd Hospital Board of Directors chairperson, Dr. Kosim Tetwa, says she hopes that this will satisfy their clients and improve service delivery of all stakeholders.
It's very important because we are envisaging a situation whereby we will be able to improve in the way we manage our clients. We know we will all be aware that the biggest hospital in the Lubombo region currently is Good Shepherd, and most of the accidents that take place there, their first point of contact for medical care is Good Shepherd Hospital. So partnering with MVA puts us in a better position to respond better and ensure that the health outcomes for all the people that come to our health facility.
This Singapetelo MVA Fund has a mobile office that moves from constituency to constituency, educating the nation about MVA. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibe, the Royal Villas, Eswatini.
An organization that specializes in training farmers on making renewable energy called Catalyze says Eswatini should have other alternative sources of energy in order to embark on different life-changing projects. This was said by the Chief Executive Officer, Debbie Cutting, during one of their trainings at Happy Valley Hotel in Eswatini. The training is conducted through funding from the EU.
Debbie Cutting, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Catalyze, says it is important for Eswatini to be trained on alternative methods of obtaining renewable energy for them to uplift their livelihoods. She was speaking during the training of farmers on renewable energy at Happy Valley Hotel at Eswatini.
And it's regarding looking at opportunities for Eswatini in renewable energy. As we all know, many of our rural population do not have access to energy. We're expected to increase double-digit tariff increases, and our power agreement with Eskom stops in 2025. So as a nation, His Majesty has mandated looking at renewables, 50% renewables by 2030. So as part of Catalyze in the European Union, we're looking at what those opportunities could be in renewable energy.
Zanele Mazibugo, who is the business advisor at the organization, says they have been helping farmers around Bunya since 2019 on renewable energy.
Sisebenza kakhulu nabosomabhizinisi labancane kulolu hlelo nje le renewable energy sisebenza nabalimi labancane.
She says they have since trained 108 farmers on the right way of cultivating wattle trees so that they grow without posing danger to the environment.
Ugesi leti nhlelo tibakhanze seba vele balungele ukuthi makuqala nabo bakhona ukuthi bathole emathuba ekuthuthukisa emakhaya abo.
In an effort to ensure the country has enough energy, government is proposing a 300 megawatt Lubugu coal-fired power station, which the Minister of Natural Resources and Energy said it will not pose danger to the environment. Another proposed power plant will use biomass technology. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Muzim Konda Mbabane.
Following the hike in cases of abuse reported in the Manzini region, Men Engaged Network Organization has capacitated chiefs from the region on issues of abuse. According to the country coordinator, Bonkosi Ndlangamandla says, chiefs can play a major role in curbing abuse in communities.
The Men Engaged Eswatini network, which is chaired by Swaka, met with chiefs from the Manzini region with the aim of promoting engagement of men and boys in achieving gender equality and the reduction of violence at all levels. The country's coordinator, Bonkosi Ndlangamandla, says the time has come for chiefs to come on board on the fight against violence in different communities.
Kuhlangana nabo babethe khulu ke ukuthi sibukela ukuthi masisebenzisana nabo ekhuthe nayo yonke imonakalo lekhona eveni.
The Manzini Regional Administrator's representative, Richard Ndwandwe, says the Manzini region, being an industrial town, has got thrones of people who need to be made aware by chiefs on what is expected of them in the fight against violence.
Cishe mawubuka lama cases lamanengi ngema cases vele la kuleti ndzawo tabobabe siyacabanga nje ukuthi lamuhla kumbe batawuthi mabathi bayaphuma bobabe kukhona lushintsho lelitafike lendeke emimangweni.
Bongani Mbingo, the participants' representative, says that it is an individual's responsibility to model the acceptable kind of behavior in communities.
Kuba ngcono na ufunzile wathi ukuthi nasengenda nje ngiyahlukubeteka noma ngiyamhlukubeta lomunye umuntu lesikubonile nje ngoba sifunza la kule workshop ukuthi labanye bebacabanga nabahlukubeta umuntu bathi bayamsita bamnika sinkwasa kusasa acabanga ukuthi ngiyamdiscipline ngiyamsita uthi angibonga kusasa angasanaki lokuthi uyamhlukubeta lo muntu.
The Kingdom of Eswatini has made great strides in the passing of laws that fight violence and abuse, such as the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act, among others. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni with Kiani Msibi in Manzini.
The Eswatini Royal Police Communications Officer Assistant Superintendent Pindile Vilagati has condemned the behavior of 3 police officers who were captured in a video that has gone viral on social media insulting a certain man. Vilagati says an investigation has been opened, and if the police are found guilty of misconduct, they will be dealt with accordingly.
The video that is trending, especially because as police we are in all the platforms to observe and listen, especially feedback from the nation. So we noted yesterday that there was a video that started trending, and from there onwards we started investigating the matter to ascertain if these are our own and if this really happened. Investigations will take its own time, considering that it also involves technology, which we have to do it in a proper way. But after the investigation, we'll know if we have someone to charge, or if it could either be criminal or even disciplinary. That person will be charged if the findings tells us that someone really committed an offense in doing that. On another note, as police, we are really concerned about such behavior if it's displayed by a police officer, because our police officers are trained in a way that they should be patient, they should be able to tolerate all situations at work and display a very good manner when they conduct themselves. So if ever this is really what happened when we do our investigations, we are definitely going to take a very serious action about this. And we're also sending a warning to all police officers as they conduct themselves to display a very good police ethics, and as well as we should always be complying with all the regulations and statutes of the country.
Sitembiso Dlamini, who is the pioneer of the Donate a Book campaign, has been selected to be the deputy country representative for the SADC Youth Council. Dlamini says he will ensure that all issues that affect the local youth, like unemployment and climate change shocks, are addressed at the SADC level. Dlamini was speaking in Manzini.
Sithambiso Dlamini, who has been elected the Deputy Country Youth Representative for the SADC Youth Council, says he will make sure that he brings the multi-sectoral challenges facing the youth to the SADC Council.
This has a huge meaning in my journey as a youth visionary leader. It means now I have a much stronger voice in representing young people in my country, the Kingdom of Eswatini, because now the issues or the things that have been doing all over these years are now going to be heard in the whole continent of Africa. The areas that I will look into, as you know, that I am much interested into issues of education. I believe that in means of eradicating poverty, young people need to be educated. We need a growing literacy rate. So, but then there are key issues that are cutting across. Young people are into sports. Young people are affected by climate change. Young people have a giant share in the unemployment rate and many other issues that involve the youth of my country. I'm looking forward into working with commitment and high determination. I won't lose my leadership conscience as I try to represent the young people of my country with all I can, sparing no effort in the process.
Dlamini says they have not been told yet how long they will stay in office. The head of the council is Mkhosi Mdluli, who is in Geneva. The post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan states that the youth of age 15 to 34 constitutes 37.5% of the country's total population. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ndlangamandla with Muzi Mkonda in Babane, some pictures sourced from the internet.
Good evening once again. You are still watching Eswatini TV. Here's a look at our sports news. Premier League of Eswatini executive member Charles Mathebula says the second round of testing for COVID-19 within MTN Premier League and National First Division clubs begins this week. Mathebula says with the assistance of the National Football Association, at least 30 people out of 50 are expected to be tested from each club. He was speaking during the MTN Premier League 2019-2020 prize presentation at Technical Centre Lobamba.
With only 2 games left before the first round of the MTN Premier League 2020-2021 league concludes, Premier League, in the company of their motherboard Football Association, will begin this week the second round of testing COVID-19 players to all Premier League and National First Division clubs.
Premier League until Friday.
According to the executive member of the Premier League of Eswatini, Charles Mathebula, at least 30 people in each club will be tested.
Speaking sita testa ngakuphi uma ngabe kunema changes ukuthi club icabanga ukuthi yona itaba more comfortable ifinga kuphi.
On another note, Premier League of Eswatini took a chance to award last season best individuals, where under the category of best player and top goal scorer of the Premier League, Young Buffalo's star Sunday Gamete swept away both awards and become richer for over 17,000 in Marangeni. For the position of the coach, Sangsem Nigati, head coach Dominic Kunene took the lead by virtue of being the coach for Young Buffaloes during the season of 2019-2020, where he assisted them to win the title league.
Iyabita influence ngalena ngoba ibita kubambisana more especially good technical staff nagiwo ema players.
Under the National First Division, Mazwi Strongonyane from Tabanguru Kedis was awarded Player of the Year, while for Tinyo Sister Pumulani Shabango, he was awarded Top Scholar of the Year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msondera with Linda Dlamini, Lobamba.
Secretary General of Ejendlovu Volleyball League, Nkosi Shabangu, says even though government has handed volleyball sport the green light to proceed with its activities, their community is faced with a big challenge of lack of facilities to conduct their tournaments. Shabangu says even the few grounds they have are currently not in good conditions to stage tournaments.
Last week Thursday, when the acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku announced sporting codes that will be proceeding with the activities Volleyball was among the sporting codes that were announced.
Umnyalo nje sithi asibonge umuntu omdzala olungangabalo imvunankulu ukuthi asinikele lo thuba lokuthi nanyaka.
And a general of Volleyball League Secretary General Nkosi Shabang says even though they are glad to be back to playing ways, their biggest challenge will be the facilities, where at the moment their current facilities are not in better conditions.
Sisalungiselela nje thina sisezama ukuboleka lokwa nalokwa indlela
Shabangu concluded highlighting that it is indeed in everyone's passion to try and play at the highest level at some point, but they face to stand serious consequences when they get a chance to play at the highest level. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
Well, Eswatini, that's all for now. Before we wrap up, let's have a look at our top stories. The Ministry of Labour will soon review the Labour Relations Act of 2000. The new chairperson of the Teaching Service Commission has been sworn in. The Police Information and Communications Officer condemns the acts of violence by certain police officers whose video has gone viral on social media. And that brings us to the end of our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team here at Eswatini TV. Thank you for watching. Good night.